Okay, come on, put up your discipline, Dukes. Let's go. It's time now for the annual Lent Wars. If Christmas is the season to be jolly, Lent is the season to be needlessly scrupulous and neurotic, and to argue, especially online, about things that have very little to do with imitating Jesus, which is supposed to be the whole point of Lent. So here is the truth about Lent, starting with the meaning of the word Lent. The Teutonic word Lent, also known as lengthen, you need a phlegm supply to pull that off. It refers to the 40 days fast that precedes Easter, and it originally meant the word spring, as in spring, summer, fall, winter. And since ye olden Anglo-Saxon days, Lent took over from the Latin term quadragesima, which means the 40th day. And right away we run into a problem. Because if you sit down with your calculator and your calendar and you count out the number of days during Lent, they do not total 40, whether or not you include Sundays. We'll get to that bitter battle shortly. The number 40 is more biblically symbolic than it is literally, calendarily accurate. Now, it's a very important number in the Bible. Rain fell for 40 days and 40 nights during the flood in Genesis 7, verse 4. Noah waited for 40 days after the tops of the mountains were seen after the flood before releasing a raven in Genesis 8, verses 5 through 7. Spies were sent by Moses to explore the land of Canaan, promised to the children of Israel, for 40 days. We see that in Numbers 13, verses 2 and verses 25. The Hebrew people lived in lands outside the promised land for 40 years. In Numbers 32, verse 13, we see. The prophet Elijah had to walk 40 days and 40 nights before arriving at Mount Horeb in 1 Kings 19, verse 8. Turn into the New Testament. Before his temptation, Jesus fasted 40 days and nights in the Judean desert, Matthew 4, verse 2, Mark 1, verse 13, Luke 4, verse 2. From the resurrection of Jesus to the ascension of Jesus, there were 40 days, Acts 1, verse 3. As a liturgical season connected to Easter in the Universal Church, Lent seems to have emerged in the late patristic era, probably not earlier in the apostolic era, as far as we know. Oh, it's true. What is the purpose of Lent? What is the truth about Lent? Well, here's the purpose. This is in the words of the universal norms for the liturgical year and the general Roman calendar. According to that official document, Lent is a liturgical season that is ordered to preparing for the celebration of Easter. Both catechumens, by the various stages of Christian initiation, and the faithful, who recall their own baptism and do penance. Unquote. So when does Lent begin and when does it end? If you really want to be precise, and I know you do, Lent technically begins at 12:01 a.m. on Ash Wednesday and ends at the beginning of the Holy Thursday Mass, which then marks the beginning of the Triduum. You ask, are Sundays included? Yes, Sundays are included in Lent. Here's a clue. The Church calls them the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth Sundays of Lent. So they're included. So what's with abstinence during Lent? Doesn't the Church hate sex enough without forbidding it during Lent? No. Abstinence in this sense means not eating meat on Ash Wednesday, all the Fridays of Lent, are also days of abstinence, along, of course, with Good Friday. The law of abstinence forbids the eating of meat, but not of eggs, not of fish, nor the products of milk or the condiments possibly made from animal fat. And by the way, if someone tells you, yeah, I heard that a medieval pope was trying to protect the Italian fishing industry by allowing fish on Fridays, you can just reply, bzzz, that is false. Total urban legend. And in case you live in the South, and I know you're thinking about this, but rest assured that alligator meat is considered seafood. So, you're good. The law of abstinence binds those who are 14 years old or older. So what about the whole, you can have one full meal and two smaller meals that together don't combine to add up to another meal, unquote. Well, you can find this idea on the USCCB website. But if you look at the actual language of Pope St. Paul VI, it's a possible interpretation of the official language in the law that was promulgated in 1966 in the Apostolic Constitution Penitemi, in which says, here's a quote, the law of fasting allows only one full meal a day, but does not prohibit taking some food in the morning and evening, observing, as far as quantity and quality are concerned, approved local custom." Unquote. Okay? So what about fasting? Who has to fast? In the Western Latin Catholic Church, the East have their own laws. The norms on fasting are obligatory on people from age 18 until the age 59. Because the Catholic Church loves common sense, there are exceptions to the law of fasting during Lent. In addition to kids under 18 and oldsters over 59, anyone who's physically or mentally ill or suffering from some chronic illness like diabetes, they're also excluded. Same with pregnant or nursing women. But what about giving up something for all of Lent, like chocolate or booze or throwing rocks or like watermelon? Well, many Catholics are surprised to learn that there is no church law requiring fasting or abstinence outside what I just said. So if you want to, that's great. Do you want to relax your voluntary fast on Sundays? Then please do so. You're not bad if you do, and you're not good if you don't. It's all purely voluntary. Now, the church strongly recommends getting to daily Mass through the week if you can, and praying with greater intentionality and being more charitable and so on. That's all true. But the main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing. What do I mean? In this case, that means that Lent is a great chance for you and I to grow closer to Jesus Christ through some very doable acts of self-sacrifice. Is it not true? You and I have a lot of reparation to do, and you and I have escaped a lot of divine justice for our sins. The season of Lent is an annual opportunity to reset our wills, to grow in self-control, and to let our hunger for food remind us of the bread that comes down from heaven, without which we can do not a little bit, not less, but nothing. A blessed Lent to you. Subscribe to this channel, hit the like button, keep in touch, love to hear your comments below, and consider joining Coffin Nation, the largest culture restoring community in the world, now in 25 countries. In the meantime, be a saint. What else is there?